Namaskar, distinguished and most respected Shri K. Jayakumarji, President Delnet, the esteemed speaker, Dr. Barbara Lison, President IFLA, Dr. S.S. Murthy, Vice President Delnet, Dr. P.R. Goswamiji, the Treasurer Delnet, the Governing Board and RSC members of Delnet, Dr. Heather Brown from Australia, institutional heads, eminent librarians and library and information science professionals, academicians, educationalists, administrators, writers, poets, many esteemed friends of Dr. H.K. Kaul, officials of various publishers and e-content providers, faculty, researchers and scholars, students who have joined from various parts of India and also many other countries, Delnet staff officials here at New Delhi, Mr. O.N. Safapuri and officials at Bangalore unit and staff at Pune unit, staff officials at Hyderabad, ladies and gentlemen. I, Sangeeta Kaul, on behalf of Delnet, would like to acknowledge your presence and express a very sincere warm thanks and gratitude for joining us today for Dr. H.K. Kaul's Memorial Lecture 2023, which will shortly be delivered by Dr. Barbara Lison, President IFLA, who will be speaking on IFLA supporting libraries to be ready for the future. We all have assembled today to pay our most respectful homage and tributes to the great visionary and legendary, the champion of libraries, who had revolutionized with his tireless efforts the library networking scenario in India by establishing Delnet, the self-reliant, self-sustainable library network, grown from a humble 10 by 10 cubicle to now having its head office here at Jawaharlal Nehru University campus and having its coordination units at Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, and also shortly at Lucknow. Today we are holding the third Dr. H.K. Kaul's Memorial Lecture instituted by Delnet in his honor and everlasting fragrant memories, whose third Punyatithi is also observed today. Dr. H.K. Kaul led by example, demonstrating high level of integrity, humility, and selflessness with the innate ability to inspire others around him. His brainchild, Delnet, a resource-sharing library network whose journey he started more than 3 years ago as a city-based library network, has now emerged as the single largest library network in South Asia, connecting nearly 8,100 institutions as its members spread across the entire country and many other countries. It is working with a missionary zeal to network and empower the libraries and inspiring the library professionals by providing its vast spectrum of library resources and services in a highly cost-effective and affordable manner. Delnet remains highly devoted to strengthen the connections, collaborations, and competencies among the libraries, allies professionals, and library users. At the very outset, I would now like to request Shri K. Jayakumarji, President Delnet, to kindly commence today's session, paying his glowing tributes to the great visionary, Dr. H.K. Kaul. May I request you, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. We have a distinguished speaker today, Barbara Lison, and we have a large number of our patrons and friends and supporters joining us on this online platform. Today is a very sad day for us, at the same time, a very important day for us. Dr. Kaul left us on this day in 2020. When we recall Dr. Kaul, my mind gets flooded with a lot of images and situations where we have shared together. When I came to Delhi on a deputation to central government from the state of Kerala, I knew only very few people in the city of Delhi. Dr. Kaul was one of my early people whom I met early in my stay in Delhi, and that relationship grew into a very professional and very kind of deep bonding between us. When I recall, it may be because he was also a poet, and I could relate to him equally as a poet. But then Dr. Kaul was not only a poet, he was an institution builder, he was a dreamer, he was a visionary. I think it's the combination of these two aspects, pragmatism on one side and the ability to envision and dream on the other side. There could be dreamers all around, but they do not accomplish. because poets, dreamers, artists, we dream of wonderful things. It is very seldom that we are able to accomplish what we dream. Now, pragmatism coupled with vision and vision coupled with pragmatism is the hallmark of Dr. Kaul's accomplishment. He had a dream. As Martin Luther King would say, he had a dream. And that dream was to create something, a networked system to give library support in the emerging world situation where technology is fast changing. We have to equip ourselves to be of service and utility to the library sector, information sector. When he started, we should understand that the world was quite different. And nobody could imagine the shape of things to come. Nobody can imagine how technology is going to take us forward. There is only one thing certain about the future, that all our predictions, or there is only one predictable thing about predictions, that is predictions will go wrong. That is the only thing that is predictable. If you predict that 2030 is going to be like this, I can assure you that it is not going to be like that, because nobody on earth is fully aware about the complex variables that are driving the technological, sociological, economic, political changes. It is beyond human imagination to synthesize all these variables and make a correct prediction. ChatGPT also does predictions fully because based on the inputs given to it. All these inputs are not available to us. I think it is in that context one would marvel at the kind of vision that Dr. Kaul had. Technology was going by the present standards. Technology was in a very infant stage, I should say. Particularly digital technology and networking technologies were just emerging. It was when I came to Delhi, I first had my mobile with very limited usage, and it almost resembled a brick at that time, you know. So things have changed. Everything is changing. And to imagine an institution like Delnet, very futuristic institution, I think my hats off to him, my pronouns to him. I think it is a God-given instinct to him that you see, great ideas start as a spark. Great ideas start as a spark, and it is up to the personality and the willingness of the person to catch on to that spark and negotiate with it, tame it, and meet the challenges and odds and make it actually come true. I know, as a person working in the culture ministry at the time, I know the kind of uncertainties Dr. Kaul had in the initial years. But slowly, history has a way of encouraging you after a little bit of discouragement. You know, history always tests you. Are you discouraged by this small setback? Then you are not fit for it. Dr. Kaul had also met a lot of setbacks, but he never gave up. His kind of his perseverance was so much that history has to reward him. So slowly, everything falls in place. Delnet comes out of IIC, it gets an independent existence. We slowly get a place. We have a building. We have the right kind of people around who can take it forward. Death is sad, but death is inevitable, all of us. And it is sad to miss. It is very saddening not to see Mr. Kaul around, you know, because seeing him was always a delight for me. Because we never talk about the Delnet whenever I came, even after I became the president. We used to talk about literary circles in Delhi, about poetry, all kinds of things. Poetry was very much in his mind. And that is what makes the difference. A visionary with poetry in him is a visionary with a difference. There are a lot of visionaries who are thinking in terms of millions, in billions, expanding my business. That is because they don't have poetry in him. Dr. Kaul had vision as well as poetry in him. It is that the beauty of that poetry which is even today reflected in the functioning of Delnet. I do not want to make a long speech. Dr. Barbara Lison has very graciously consented to give the Dr. Kaul Memorial Lecture. And I welcome her. She has been a great friend to Delnet because she understood the ethos and the value system that drives Delnet. I will conclude my words only by saying two things. One is that on this very important day, we rededicate ourselves to all our patrons and supporters and our institutions who are supporting us. We can only say that we reaffirm our faith to the professionalism that we have enshrined in our activities, and we rededicate again to that kind of values, so much so that we can offer better services to our institutions. So much so we can encourage more and more institutions to avail these new services that we are offering. And secondly, among our staff, the family, Delian family, reaffirms its great faith in this institution, and we reaffirm that we shall live up to the values and the vision that Dr. Kaul had always kept in mind, because he was a person very gentle and very affectionate, and we cannot sort of betray his ideas. We have to make it happen and brighten day by day. It's not possible to get Dr. Kaul back. Death is inevitable. In fact, that brings beauty to life also. That makes life valuable. If there is no death, there is no value to life. That is why people do not give the boon of living eternally. People are cursed. Mahabharata and all that. People are cursed. You be eternal. You will be deathless. That's a curse. That indirectly says that death actually affirms the value of life. So Dr. Kaul is gone into eternity. But now the ball is in our court, as they say. We have something to do. We have to complete what he started, what he imagined. So let us reaffirm our dedication to this institution and reaffirm to the values and goals that we set for us, and tell silently to us that the memory of Dr. Kaul will live through us in our professionalism, our competence, and 100% commitment to betterment. Let us take Delnet from this stage of excellence to greater stage of excellence year by year. I conclude, I pay my very, very heartfelt pranams to the memory of a great soul like Dr. H.K. Kaul. Let his memory live through us, through our actions, through our commitment. So with these few words, I conclude, and now I will pass on to Dr. Sangeeta to invite Barbara Lison. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. The unparalleled vision, that die-hard spirit, the perseverance to bring in change, and the genuine desire to empower and transform the libraries and LIS professionals was reflected in every single spoken word and works of a true Karmayogi, Dr. H.K. Kaul, which will resonate forever and will continue to inspire Delnet to keep its unwavering commitment and dedication of higher order firm and strong towards the libraries and LIS professionals for generations to come. We would like to have this opportunity to once again live with Dr. Kaul and with his wonderful memories through his words of wisdom.
What we notice today is that knowledge is still important. It's becoming more and more important. The countries that have access to knowledge, that have control over knowledge, are now the more powerful countries in the world. And therefore, we have to have access to knowledge. But the means of accessing knowledge have changed. From the print, they are slowly going into the digital form, and information is becoming what we notice today is that knowledge is still important. It's becoming more and more important. The countries that have access to knowledge, that have control over knowledge, are now the more powerful countries in the world. And therefore, we have to have access to knowledge. But the means of accessing knowledge have changed. From the print, they are slowly going into the digital form, and information is becoming available in the digital form. But at the same time, it was manageable to handle books in the 20th century, but today, knowledge is doubling. Information is almost doubling every few months. 6 months, 1 year, estimates are there, and it is very difficult for the individual to get the best information from the internet or from web resources or from digital resources. So therefore, there is a great responsibility on librarians today, more than it was 100 years back. Today, the message of Sir Gaikwad is becoming much more important, and we are really going to take his blessings in seeing that people have access to information. We in Delnet, we have more than 4,000 libraries in the network throughout the country and outside India in 7 countries. E-content market and identify the new technologies and business models that are convenient, best, and affordable to them. We have a major issue facing libraries in the area of archiving of e-content, as the libraries are not able to archive useful content due to technological, manpower, financial, and copyright barriers that exist in different ways in different types of libraries. I feel that the Government of India and the state governments that spend billions of rupees on acquiring content should discuss with the publishers and aggregators of e-content and see how useful content gets archived in some centers in the country. The rapid growth of e-content has led to the fastest changes taking place in ICT and vice versa. Library professionals have to be conversant with such changes. Their interest in the social media will have to grow, and they should be able to use technologies that help in accessing all types of content. E-content is of special interest as it is basically collected or archived from every library user who may use the library today or in future. But we notice that in many libraries, the footfalls of users are falling in number. To attract such users back to libraries and to attract every person who should be interested in information, libraries need to become special places by organizing special programs, by offering special services and content, and by using special management techniques. Delnet is prepared to give a helping hand to every library user and official in order to bridge the gap which is growing between libraries and their users. It's the job of library professionals as students and researchers can't do this job on their own. Library professionals need to be highly trained, motivated to undertake this job. There is a need for providing personalized services to every type of student, teacher, and service. The library professionals should be knowing exactly what are the needs of the users. They should make surveys, whether they are in the public libraries or they are in the academic libraries. So there's a need to provide personalized service. It's like a doctor providing services to a patient. Therefore, we have, as library professionals, an important job to do. There's also a greater need to bridge the digital divide that exists today between the resources available in libraries in the Northeast and in libraries in other parts of the country. Delnet is in a position to bridge this gap to a greater extent through millions of informational resources if the donor ministry and state governments so desire.
19 years, we have not increased the annual membership fee. It is just the same what we had started in 1999. The reason being we want more and more libraries to benefit, get modernized, and serve the users, serve the students, teachers, and scholars so that they move ahead. Resource sharing is the main objective with which Delnet was established. We started working on it in 1988. It took us nearly up to 1992 to register it as a society, and our interlibrary loan service is the best in South Asia, and a lot of work is being done. We are indeed grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, who in his message to NATO in 2017 has reiterated that the libraries need to get modernized and they have to provide quality information to our users, students, teachers in the country, and this is one of the important tasks that he has mentioned.
What we at Delnet, we are dedicated. We have more than the library movement will spread. We take the blessings of Sir Gaikwad and we move forward and hope that this conference, this national convention, will give us more strength to do better things in this field. Thank you.
Once again, pay our humble homage to our founder, Dr. H.K. Kaul, the great leader, and who has been able to make it possible for us. Because of him, we are able to see the day, each one of us, without him, definitely we miss his presence every moment, but yes, the work that he has left behind and our continued pledge of not only the DELNET, but the entire profession, that we will keep this, the light of knowledge. He is going to stay forever, through the work that he has done for the entire profession. And we remain highly committed, to carry forward that work with a great sense of dedication and devotion. And that's in a true sense would be our homage to this great visionary. It is a great honor and profound privilege for DELNET that Dr. Barbara Lison, the president of IFLA, an iconic global leader leading IFLA, the voice of the libraries, with her dynamic vision and impeccable dedication, she has been able to transform and empower the libraries. We are indeed much grateful to Dr. Barbara Lison, who has been very gracious in accepting our kind invite to deliver Dr. H.K. Kaul's third memorial lecture. Due to her last-minute professional exigency, she has not been able to join online, but she has been very gracious in sending us a recorded video lecture, which we are going to play in a short while. We also take pleasure in mentioning it to each one of you that we had a wonderful opportunity. Not only it was a wonderful opportunity for DELNET, but also for many of our colleagues that Mrs. Barbara Lison visited DELNET on 17th of April this year. And we had very wonderful interactions with her. And we would firstly like to show you the few pictures that were captured, as a very warm remembrance of her visit to DELNET, and most precisely at Dr. Kaul's Karmabhumi, his own office here in DELNET, which is kept intact in his everlasting memory. This picture in the background, you can see Dr. Kaul's photographs from his very early days at ISC, and also one of the book of Dr. Kaul's book, published quite recently in 2017, Early Writings on India, which was published during 1976, got republished by Routledge in 2017. And this copy of that book, which Dr. Barbara Lison is having a look at. And yes, he stays here forever. Dr. Kaul, through his work, his presence, DELNET was and will always be his soul. And we remain highly committed to carry forward the great legacy that he has left behind. And each one of us, the library and information science professionals, have to treasure that, with great sense of commitment. And we pay, once again, on behalf of each one of us, we pay our respectful homage to him. We would now like to, this is well before we play this video lecture by Dr. Barbara Lison. We would once again would like to convey our very sincere, heartfelt gratitude to her for sparing time. And she has been sending across the emails, conveying that how much she has missed out being there online, but she was very gracious in recording this entire message, not only the message, but also the entire video lecture, which she was supposed to deliver online.
Dear Sangeeta Kaul, dear colleagues in India, I am so happy to be invited to give you a lecture at the occasion of the Dr. Kaul Jubilee Symposium. I'm very, very happy that I had the opportunity to be in India some weeks ago and also to be in Delnet, to see in person, accompanied by Sangeeta Kaul, the very, very important work that Dr. Kaul has done for the Indian libraries and also for the libraries of the world. So that is so important for me to have been there. And now I can really, really very much appreciate what successes, what outcome has been created by Dr. Kaul. I even have seen his office in the Delnet buildings, and I was so impressed by everything what I have seen. So now I would like to come to my original presentation, but I cannot stop thinking about the wonderful experiences that I had in Delhi with Delnet and with you, Sangeeta. Thank you very much again for this. Let me share my screen with you and start with the presentation. So this is my presentation, IFLA, supporting libraries to be ready for the future. First of all, IFLA, what is this? The International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. And I'm very thankful that Delnet also joined the IFLA membership now already 3 months ago, and that Sangeeta will be in Rotterdam at our Congress. IFLA is the global voice of libraries, and I always say it is also the global voice for libraries, because IFLA is the leading international body representing the interests of library and information services, and accordingly, of course, the interests of their users. We are not there for ourselves, we are there for our users. Some information about IFLA. IFLA's headquarters is in The Hague in the Netherlands, but there are also regional offices around the world. You can see them. And we have language centers as well, because IFLA has 7 working languages. That is English, French, German, my home language. It's Spanish, Russian, Arabic, and Chinese. All these languages you can find on the IFLA website in different contexts. The IFLA leadership, that's me. I'm the IFLA president from 2021 till 2023. Still some months to go, and then my successor will take over. Every president has a theme. My presidential theme is libraries building a sustainable future, because I am so much, well, I'm so much addicted, I may say addicted to the idea of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030. So sustainability is so close to my heart that I chose the theme, libraries building a sustainable future. And according to the IFLA leadership, I have a rather new photo to show you. This is the new Secretary General of IFLA, Sharon Bemis, who started her job on the 1st of June. So she will lead IFLA together with the presidents, the incoming presidents, me as well. She will lead IFLA through the next years and be also, I think, a really asset for IFLA. And you also see there Helen Mandel. She is the Deputy Secretary General, and she is also an asset to the association. The man there is the treasurer, and you know money is always important. our financial sustainability is important, and Jaap Naber from the Netherlands will also be the treasurer in the next term. Let's come back to IFLA, the basic information. As Federation, we have core values that we are embracing to support the libraries and to support the library world. And the core values are based on Article 19 of the International Universal Declaration of Human Rights by the United Nations of 1949. You see, the most important thing is free access to information. And of course, that is something that IFLA is following up all the time, the core values. Based on the core values, you can see the aims. And IFLA's aims are to promote high standards of provision and delivery of library and information services, to encourage widespread understanding of the value of good library and information services, and to represent the interests of the members throughout the world. Now, how do we do this? How do we prepare the libraries for the present tasks and also for future tasks? Some other information is how you, as people who are interested, colleagues who are interested in the IFLA work and want, of course, to take some information over. Therefore, have a look at the IFLA website. The IFLA website, ifla.org, is a source, a broad source of so many information, of so many material. You can search for it, you can just browse it. It's just a very important site. So ifla.org. A newsletter is coming out every month, and if you subscribe to the newsletter, you will get the latest information from IFLA, very well structured. We mainly have, or we always have, a main topic in the newsletter, but we also have many information. The IFLA Library Map of the World is an important tool that you can also use to understand the library scenes of different countries, the library landscape of different countries, how many libraries are there. So you can, if you are interested in any country, how the library landscape is there, you just go there and get the necessary information. And this is the structure how IFLA is governed, the governance of IFLA. Of course, there is the General Assembly that decides about all the legal issues. But then the governing board is the board who decides about the strategy, and the strategy is important, of course, to work well. We have a regional council and we have a professional council that is more than 50 groups that work there for professional items, and we have several advisory committees. Let's come to the regional council because that might be interesting for you in the region. So the Asia Pacific region is where India is located. And you see there is a lot of information when you go to the IFLA website and have a look at the Asia Oceania Regional Division. You get a lot of information. And Dibal is the chair of that regional division committee. These are the fields where IFLA is advocating for libraries, the powering the sustainable development. You see, through all this presentation, you will find sustainability as a very important aspect. Of course, as always, for libraries, copyright and access to knowledge, an inclusive, rights-based information society. IFLA wants also to work on the support of the environment for libraries, the political environment, sure, and also promote and safeguard culture and heritage. IFLA can do this alone, but it is much better than doing this alone to also work together with partners. They also help IFLA to support the libraries. You see, I would like to show you the main partners and the long-term partners. First of all, UNESCO. IFLA and UNESCO work together very well. I show you some photos that were taken in Dublin last year at our World Conference. There we celebrated 75 years of partnership between IFLA and UNESCO. And also we published the Public Library Manifesto of 2022. So everyone who is now in the audience who comes from a public library, just go to our website, look for the Public Library Manifesto, and you will find a lot of interesting sources, of interesting arguments for politicians, why it is necessary to support public libraries. Then also, IFLA is working together in the UNESCO Memory of the World program, because in our libraries, there is a lot of memories, written memories mainly, and the UNESCO has that program. So we bring in the idea of written memory being very important for the world, for the world's history, and of course, for the world's future as well. So the next is the United Nations. We are working together with the United Nations when it comes to represent the interest of libraries. And the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations have been also adopted by IFLA. And this is Donna Schieder sitting in the United Nations General Assembly to speak about the libraries and their importance for the Sustainable Development Agenda of the United Nations. That was really a highlight in 2015, 8 years already. Donna Schieder, then president, she has passed away, unfortunately, but this was a highlight for IFLA and the collective work with the United Nations. Then there is still ongoing work together with the United Nations, so that our colleagues, you see there in the right picture, you see the colleagues who have been there on the UN high-level political forum last year, representing the library's achievements according to the Sustainable Development Goals. So, of course, there are other partners, but I just wanted to show you the very highlight partners that we have, and also for a very long time. Now let's come back to IFLA and the idea what IFLA brings. What is IFLA for our libraries? And we started several projects, and I want to show you one project especially. That is the Global Vision Project. We tried to find out the 10 most challenging and the 10 most benefiting ideas why libraries exist and how libraries exist. And we involved many, many colleagues all over the world in a long-term process. So you can see there are more than 20,000 people who have contributed to that surveys, to that process, and the result of this process I want to show you and to give you as a food for thought for you and your work for the next future. So the idea that came out of the Global Vision process is that the challenges facing the library field from ever increasing globalization can only be met and overcome by an inclusive global response from a united library field, saying every library, of course, has their purpose. Every library has their right to be in their environment and their eco-environment. But to be challenged by the globalization means we have to be united, and we have to give a united response to the events and to the challenges of globalization. So the key findings are more than 20,000 people said we are united globally in our goals and values. That is very important. And we must connect global and local actions effectively to show a cooperative that is called Libraries of the World. Let's go to the 10 highlights and the 10 opportunities. So the first highlight that was identified by these 20,000 participants says, we are dedicated to equal and free access to information and knowledge. Of course we are, but the opportunity, and I call the opportunity always a challenge, is we must be champions of intellectual freedom. Otherwise, the first highlight, the access to information and knowledge, cannot be achieved. The next highlight is we remain deeply committed to supporting literacy, learning, and reading. The challenge is that we can do this only if we update our traditional roles in the digital age all the time, continuously. The third highlight is we are focused on serving our communities. Yes, we are. And the opportunity and challenge is that we can do this only if we understand the community needs better, even better, and then design the services for impact. The fourth highlight is we embrace digital innovation. If we don't do that, we are lost. Therefore, the challenge is we must keep up with ongoing technological changes. There is no stop. There is no deadline. It is always going on that we must keep updated with the technological changes and develop services out of that for the library users. The fifth highlight is we have leaders who see the need for strong advocacy. The challenge is we need more and better advocates at all levels to advocate for the library's interest. And I know that in India, there is so many colleagues. I have met them. Sangeeta is one of the highlights of these colleagues who are advocating for libraries. The sixth highlight is we see funding as one of our biggest challenges. Yes, money, that's a problem, always. But just asking for money is not enough. We need to ensure that the stakeholders, where the money comes from, understand our value and impact. So we have to show them our value and impact. Number 7 is we see the need to build collaboration and partnerships. As I said, UN, UNESCO, one of our steady partners of IFLA. And the challenge is we need to develop a spirit of collaboration. So there are individual libraries, of course, but a library should not stand on an island. A library should stand in a community of other libraries, exchange, friendship, partnership, learning from each other is so important. Number 8, we want to be less bureaucratic, less inflexible, and less resistant to change. That means some of us might be bureaucratic, might act inflexibly, and might be resistant to change. Therefore, we need to challenge our current structures and behaviors. Sometimes it's not our fault, but there are other higher demands that we are bureaucratic. So we should look to reduce bureaucracy, to reduce inflexibility, but our resistance to change, if there is one, we only us, we can reduce and get rid of it. Number 9, we are the guardians of the memory of the world. Of course, the challenge is there. We need to maximize access to the world's documentary heritage so that everyone has access to it. And we are the guardians, but we are not the gatekeepers who hinder people to get access for that. And finally, the 10th highlight is our young professionals are deeply committed and eager to lead. The challenge is we must give young professionals effective opportunities to learn, to develop, and to lead. That means take young professionals, get them into your environment, get them into your networks so they can develop as leaders. This is very important. So these were the 10 highlights and opportunities and challenges of the global vision. And I think this is a good basis for every library and every librarian to look into the future, to look into these different 10 highlights. What is important for me? What does that mean for me to improve myself and to improve my library for the future? Based on the global vision process, there was the IFLA strategy developed until 24. We still have that strategy, still 1 year to go. This strategy has 4 strategic directions: strengthen the global voice of libraries, inspire and enhance professional practice, connect and empower the field, and optimize our organization. What does that mean in more material words? So let's have a look at strategic number 1, strengthen the global voice of libraries. Every strategic direction has 4 key initiatives where we describe what IFLA is doing to support the libraries for the future. For instance, number 1.3, work with library associations and libraries to identify key legal and funding challenges to their work and advocate for action. Or build a strong presence in international organizations and meetings as a valued partner. Just refer back to UNESCO and United Nations. Strategic direction number 2 is inspire and enhance professional practice. What does that mean? That means, when you look at the 4 key initiatives for that, develop standards, guidelines, and other materials that foster best professional practice, or deliver high-quality campaigns, information, and other communication as products on a regular basis to engage and energize libraries. Strategic direction number 3, connect and empower the field. Actually, we are now connecting. That's right, isn't it? So the key initiatives support virtual networking and connections. I think during the pandemic and even afterwards, this was one of our key works. Empower the field at the national and regional levels. Very important. Give the national associations tools to advocate on the national level for the libraries. Provide excellent opportunities for face-to-face networking and learning. Well, one of the most excellent opportunities is the World Library and Information Congress that is held by IFLA and will take place in Rotterdam in August this year. Strategic direction number 4, optimize our organization. And the key initiatives are increase diversity and engage our membership. So we are looking not only onto the organization, but first the members. Increase our visibility through excellent and innovative communications and so on. So now you have an overview how IFLA is supporting the library field to be ready for the future, to work for the future. That means let's be inspired, engaged, enabled, and connected through IFLA. And my last but one slide is an information about Rotterdam, about the World Library and Information Congress that will take place in Rotterdam. And I would like you to see there. I'm sure Sangeeta is meeting there with me. I'm so glad about that. And so who has not decided to come to Rotterdam? Think about it. There is still time to register and still time to travel. With that, I thank you for your attention. We are IFLA, that is our slogan. And now You and me, we together are IFLA. I wish you a great continuation of the Dr. Kaul lectures, and thank you very much for your attention. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Barbara, for delivering one of the most visionary talk. Thank you so much. We can't really thank you enough for taking out time for us, accommodating our request. You have been so kind and generous. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom, empowering talk, and highlighting about the 10 the vision and goals of IFLA, and that those are the visionary goals for each and every library professional from any new and part of the world. And you have very aptly have highlighted about the growing opportunities and the challenges which are there. But yes, one of the strong message that you have conveyed, and organization like Delnet, Dr. Kaul, the visionary who had been able to establish this organization, it has been so wonderful to see that, yes, the message that you have very clearly indicated, that we have to build up the global connections, we have to work collaboratively in a partnership mode, and also to see to it that our actions, these are not only with the global vision, we have to implement, those particular vision into our actionable, things at our local levels. Delnet remains highly committed. We are there with IFLA, and that's the reason we have joined early this year. And I would also like to take this opportunity to inform all our colleagues here who are here on this platform, especially our own Indian Library and Information Science colleagues, being there with this connected with Delnet, that Delnet remains highly committed to bring to you the global resources, building up the global partnership with the libraries. And we would really like to see to it that our Indian library users are having a global access to information, and Delnet should be in a position to get more and more libraries network from different nooks and parts of the world. And our aim and goal remains that, yes, bring in those libraries together and spread that information, and build up those communities, build up, those connections together, and let's be together, to serve the society. And we are really much grateful to Dr. Barbara Lison, who has been able to also help Delnet in coming and in making it visible to the global community. And we assure you, in the days to come, Delnet would be in a position to get you connected, with many of the libraries, the global libraries, and also with their library collections, in order to fulfill your needs and requirements. Thank you very much, Dr. Barbara. On behalf of Delnet and on behalf of each one of us, we have a very special, this is a memento which you may like to treasure forever. And this is the book authored by no one else, by Dr. H.K. Kaul, the book on historic Delhi, which he authored way back in the year 1985, published by Oxford University Press. And let me share with you that this book is still in print. It is also now in the digital platform. This is being available, and I'll be really feel honored, to present this book to you when we meet at Rotterdam at the forthcoming IFLA conference next month. And I would just like to read a paragraph from the preface of this book, written by Dr. Kaul, and that is in his words. Majority of us here on this platform today, you would definitely be knowing about it, that Dr. Kaul was not just simply a library and information science expert. He was a poet by heart, as being said by Honorable President. He also founded, besides Delnet, he also founded the Poetry Society India. So he was a poet by heart. And yes, he chose, in his own words, he chose libraries as a medium of doing his real karma. But yes, he was a poet, and then he was also a prolific writer who wrote more than 70 books. His first book came out in the year 1972, and that was a bibliography on Sri Aurobindo. 15th August 1972, that book was released. And ever since, he authored more than 70 titles on varied disciplines, not just simply in the libraries. And that's what we would like to convey to our library and information science professionals, that he was a person having, a multifaceted personality. And those 70 books were right from the history to the bibliographies to the poetry to the libraries. Definitely, that was his main core. I would just like to quickly read, this first paragraph of the preface written by Dr. Kaul way back in the year 1985 when this book, Historic Delhi, got published, by Oxford University Press, and how many prints that this title has, the fifth impression that we have with us in the hand right now. And to quote him, in 1973, when I began work on Travelers India, I visualized subsequent volumes that would deal specifically with the themes indicated in its main chapter headings. Later, however, I felt that it would be more appropriate to first assemble material on subjects that had most clearly attracted travelers and chronicles over the centuries. In its long and varied history, the city of Delhi has been a subject of continuous comment and encouragement, encouraged by invaluable advice from my publishers. I embarked on Historic Delhi. This anthology is primarily based on travelers' accounts originally written in English or available in English translations. It has been supplemented with the historical and literary accounts. An effort has been made to provide a comprehensive and a detailed picture of Delhi through the ages. The selection is based on the compiler's judgment of the importance and the liveliness of passages, which has no doubt also resulted in excluding certain themes which might have been included had comprehensiveness been the sole criteria of selection. I just have read this passage, from the book being written by Dr. Kaul, inspiring you. If you may like to, get this book may not be available no longer in the market as a print copy, but yes, definitely you can get a digital copy of it. But definitely you being a member of Delnet, you want to get this book, we will really be delighted to send across this book to you on interlibrary loan so that you can go through this title and see the magnificent work being done by Dr. Kaul, and it would really be a great honor for us, if we are able to further promote, the great extraordinary work that Dr. Kaul did throughout his life. Now we would like to make the floor, because we can see that we have fairly around 600, of our attendees who are being there right now on this platform, and many of, each one of you may like to, because of paucity of time, we may really like to make the floor open for questions, and the floor is entirely yours. I just request you, if you would just like to, say something on this occasion, we'll be really happy to get connected. Please kindly raise your digital hand, and in the meantime, I will also quickly be, sifting through our attendees, and would be really happy and honored if you may kindly like to speak on this occasion. Just kindly raise your digital hand, or even you can post your messages in the chat box. So we will be very, we may like to even take anything that you may like to say on this occasion. We will be very happy. I can see that we have Dr. P.R. Goswamiji is here with us, who has been a close associate of Dr. Kaul for years altogether, for more than 4 decades, and also at the same time he's also the treasurer of Delnet. I would just like to request him, sir, I'm just trying to give you an audio control, and it would be, we will really be, sir, yes, we are connected right now. Goswami sir, would you like to say something on this occasion, sir?
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Please, sir, kindly, sir. Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir. Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
3 years have passed after the sad demise of Dr. H.K. Kaul, and I can realize that whatever Delnet has achieved during the past 30 years or so, it is because of Dr. Kaul and because the efforts of Sangeeta Kaul that Delnet has expanded, and it has become the only successful library network in the country. And as explained by Barbara Lison, I think Delnet will participate in the activities which are being undertaken by our international body, IFLA, because representation in IFLA from India is very few. There are very few institutions which are members of IFLA. So in that sense, I think Delnet has taken a very right decision to participate in IFLA activities. And I would request Dr. Sangeeta Kaul to take up some of the projects in India, IFLA, which IFLA has emphasized, IFLA president has emphasized in her speech. And as I am associated with DELNET for a long time, more than 20 years, I wholeheartedly, I will support all the activities with my limited knowledge and my limited understanding of the subject, whatever it is, in future also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. And we are much honored to inform that IFLA has chosen DELNET as a regional hub for their activities for Asia Oceania and to start off for their IFLA forthcoming conference. They have got 4 regional hubs across the globe, and DELNET is being chosen as a regional hub, where we are going to have early next week their virtual meetings, and wherein DELNET will be playing an important role in coordinating the IFLA activities for the entire Asia Oceania, and especially for the forthcoming conference, which is happening, early next month. Thank you very much, Goswami sir, for all your immense support. We remain ever grateful, and your guidance really means a lot to us. Thank you so much, sir, for always being there with us. Thank you very much indeed. I would just quickly would like to, we have our Honorable President has a commitment, yet another commitment this evening. And just to share that sir is also the President of the Poetry Society India, the TPS being instituted by Dr. Kaul, and Dr. Shri K. Jai Kumarji is also the president, and sir has got, and there is an evening program, at ISC. But sir, we would just like to request you, if you may just like to say some concluding words, and then we may perhaps, like to continue the session for a while. Sir.
It was a great privilege to have been here and on this day, share with thoughts about Kaul, and also rededicate ourselves. And I should also thank Barbara for very insightful words of encourage. She gives exactly what she shows the way. I think that is of course expected of the president, but then she brings an extra dimension of words. She knows what DELNET is doing and she's a great friend of IFLA, and therefore I thank her for very wonderful words. And I also take leave of you. And I also thank all the participants, nearly 600 of them, who shows our affinity and relationship. DELNET. And I thank, let me also failing in my duty to acknowledge the great work done by the staff at DELNET. I said that we should rededicate. I should not be ignoring the fact that we are dedicated. I should not be understanding that we are already dedicated, and we have actually taken DELNET to great heights. What I only mean is the journey should continue. Greater commitment. We have a long way to go. I'm sure we will be able to take DELNET to heights. That is all we can actually do to the large number of people who are connected with us. Officials. So thank you once again. Let us rededicate us the commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for being such an enormous support to us always. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We would like to, we would just like to continue with our colleagues here on this platform, and would like to request you, if you may like to say something, please raise your digital hand, and we would really be on this occasion today paying homage to the great visionary Dr. Kaul, and it would be really, we will be really happy that more and more of us really come, agrees to, we can't see right now. There are a couple of our colleagues, who may, even if you're wanting, you may place your message in the chat box. We can be in a position to read out those messages. But yes, I'm also trying to see that some of those who have been, we have Dr. Anuradha Seth. Dr. Anuradha Seth, Anuradha, could you please unmute yourself? This is for Dr. Anuradha Seth. Dr. Anuradha, could you please unmute yourself? I have unmuted you from this end. This is for you, Dr. Anuradha Seth.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, Anuradha. Yeah,
Ma'am,
very good
it's
afternoon, Anuradha.
it's
Very good
really
afternoon.
a privilege for me to attend the occasion, although it is very sad moment and has a mixed emotions. But I always feel very delighted to attend the webinars, which are always very thought-provoking and gives us insight to tread on the new horizons and make innovations in the digital scenario, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. We
Thank
really
you.
miss.
Thank you,
We
Anuradha. Thank
really
you
miss
for
Dr.
being
H.K.
here.
Kaul. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Each one of us. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Anuradha. Thank you. I would just like to read a message being posted by Mr. Deepak Kumar Srivastava, and Deepak says, thanks for the speech. My question to you, how you observe Indian public library system, because we are doing good, but still challenges are many more. Public librarians like me can afford the IFLA membership fee. Can you plan to give some concession to public libraries? Okay, so this is a question which is being meant for Dr. Barbara Lison, and I would be really happy to forward your message, Deepak, to Barbara. But let me just convey to you that Delnet is now working in a very collective manner. You know, we are trying to bring together and do the networking of public libraries in India. We are in the process of developing a state-of-the-art public libraries portal. And we also have plans to make our membership open for the researchers and scholars of the country. And we do anticipate in the next few months' time, we will be ready with our the digital library portal, especially the public libraries portal for the general masses and also for the public libraries. So we are into it, Mr. Sumer, and we are also planning to hold an international conference on public libraries somewhere during the fag end of 2024, wherein we intend to bring in at least around 25 international public library experts from across the globe. And we do have plans to get our the pickup portal, which is meant for the personalized information resources and services for the general public, on which we are currently working in, having much of the regional content also coming in. And we really want, many libraries to join hands with Delnet. So we are working on that, though it's going to take at least yet another 1 year time for us, but we are on to this. We have set up our roadmap, for transforming the public libraries, and especially also reaching out to the general masses. This has been one of the dream of Dr. Kaul. So we are working on all those, agendas on which he has always been wanting, Delnet to take a lead. And this has been one of the things which was very much each one of us have been knowing. He was on the board of National Knowledge Commission, National Mission on Libraries, and which also one of the major recommendation of NKC was the Delnet to network around 25,000 plus public libraries. We know that it didn't come to the implementation stage, but yes, Delnet remains highly committed now to also working for the public libraries and also for the general masses as such, for the general public as such. So, and we have already initiated in this direction. We have a couple of new projects that we are working on, and we are also keen that being the now member of IFLA, and as being also suggested and advised by Dr. Goswami sir, that Delnet should also try to do many of the IFLA projects here in India. And we are also really keen, that we have many more international global partnerships, and in the public library sector, and as well as, in other, so networking, when we talk about, it has no end, it has only the beginnings, and which brings in a large number of infinite possibilities. And I think each one of us remains highly committed to explore those possibilities. So please give us some time, Mr. Deepak Kumar Srivastava, and you would be Dr. Deepak Kumar Srivastava. We can assure you that there's a number of projects, which are in the pipeline, and sooner, they will be able to see the light of the day. I just quickly would be wanting to see if we have anyone else who may like to. We have Dr. Rajesh Sharma, if I'm not wrong, Dr. Rajesh, from Kendriya Vidyalaya Bilaspur, and our colleague also at the same time who worked under Dr. Kaul's guidance at India International Center. This is for you, Dr. Rajesh Sharma. Dr. Rajesh, I have unmuted you, requesting you to unmute yourself. This is for you, Dr. Rajesh. Dr. Rajesh Sharma, could you please unmute yourself? I believe Rajesh is not able to do that. Let me, in the meantime, quickly go. We have Dr. Naheem KT. Dr. Naheem KT, could you please unmute yourself? I have unmuted you. Dr. Naheem KT, could you please unmute yourself? If you're encountering any difficulty, you can post your message in the chat box, and we will really be happy to, read out your message. I'm just trying to see. We have Dr. Heather Brown. It's difficult to Heather.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I have no words. It's difficult, to say. And, to introduce you, our very own Dr. Heather Brown from Australia, a great friend.
So thank you very much. It was a wonderful, inspiring lecture from Dr. Barbara Lison. And what it said for me, or what it showed me, was Dr. Kaul's vision, which is extraordinary. He has a genius vision, and his vision fits like a glove with IFLA. So the collaboration, the partnerships, the connection, and the ethics and the values that sit behind DELNET align DELNET's work absolutely like a 100% alignment with IFLA. So I think this is a golden moment and takes the work of DELNET, linking it internationally as a great force. And I can see in my mind's eye Dr. Kaul encouraging us all to go ahead in this wonderful work, collaboration and partnerships. So it's a very, very inspiring stage, and so wonderful to have that connection with IFLA. Thank you.
And we feel so blessed to have this connection with you, Heather. Thank you very much for always being around, for always being a pillar of strength for each one of us here at DELNET.
Thank you
very much.
My heart is Indian.
Thank you very much, Heather. This is what Dr. Kaul always used to tell it to you, that you are there in Australia, but you are an Indian who has just been, transported to Australia. I remember his words always over the dining tables, whenever we used to have dinners together. He always used to tell it to you, Heather. Thank you very much, Heather, for making this evening a special one with your presence today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Heather. Thank you very much. God bless. Let me just go to our next colleague. Let me just see. We have Judika Nanda Das, and let me just try to see firstly if we can get connected online. This is for you, Judika Nanda Das. Could you please unmute yourself? I have sent you an unmute request also. I believe, okay, you have posted a message and appreciating DELNET. Thank you very much. We feel much humbled, with your inputs. Thank you very much. Let me quickly just move on to, we have Mr. Kamal Thumbe. Mr. Kamal Thumbe, I'm extremely sorry, I can't give you an audio control because there is no audio device attached. So you can post your message so that we can read out the content, as you don't have an audio device and I can't really can give you a connect. I'm just going through. We have Mr. Raghavan Singaravelu. Mr. Raghavan Singaravelu, could you please unmute yourself? We have given you an audio control. Yes, we are connected, Mr. Raghavan.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we are connected. Yeah, please kindly.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. Raghavan. We can hear you.
Very good lectures to the world class this DELNET is conducting. Even though I'm not a librarian, I am an electronics professor. I am regularly attending all your programs. Only request is just to explore whether interested individual persons also can become members. Just I don't know how far it will work out. A small appeal, that's all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghavan. As have just been conveyed that very soon Delnet will be launching even the membership also for the individuals, and especially for researchers and scholars. For researchers and scholars, we will be launching our membership and also creating very exclusive portals for the general public, which will have, for varied kinds of categories, whether they are the youngsters, they are, the aged population, they are the young children, and we are in the process of developing. So sooner it would be there, and we will be really happy to keep you informed about it. And we truly appreciate your being there in our library meets, and that makes the entire difference, of having, because our ultimate goal remains through the gateway of libraries to reach out to our most esteemed scholarly and research community, and your presence over here is a testimony to it that yes, we are able to make a difference in that. So thank you very much, Dr. Raghavan. We have greatly valued your presence and look forward to having you back again in our future webinars too. Thank you very much, Dr. Raghavan. Thank you. Thank you indeed. We would just now like to move to see, we have, I'd just like to see if we can get connected. Just bear with me. I'm just trying to see if any of other colleagues, who are there online may like to speak before. This is for you, Savita Pradhan. Savita, we don't have an audio device connected with you, so I can't really give you a connection. So we would really have been Dr. Savita Pradhan from Singha College of Engineering, Pune. But I'm extremely sorry, there's no audio device that the system is able to detect. You can post your message in the chat box. We have Mr. Surinder Kumar. I need to see whether this is our colleague from formerly with National Informatics Center. This is for you, Surinder. I have unmuted you. Could you please unmute yourself? This is for Mr. Surinder Kumar. Could you please unmute yourself, Surinder? This is for Mr. Surinder Kumar, who has raised the digital hand. Could you please unmute yourself? I believe we are not able to. Let me just quickly move on to see. Just trying quickly to see if we have, I'll just be trying to see, we have, I believe we are, if there is anyone else, I'm just would go once again. If you may like to say anything on this occasion, please raise your digital hand quickly. I'm just sifting through A to Z. Ashish Ware, this is for you, Ashish. You don't have an audio device, and so I can't get connected with you. We have Mr. Chaman Lal. Mr. Chaman Lal, could you please unmute yourself? This is for you, Mr. Chaman Lal. Could you please unmute yourself, Mr. Chaman Lal? Let me just try to get connected with Dr. Rajesh Sharma. I believe he is online now and who has been. This is for you, Dr. Rajesh. Could you please unmute yourself? Dr. Rajesh Sharma, could you please unmute yourself, Dr. Rajesh? He's not able to do it, I believe. Let me just read out, yes. This is a message from Dr. Rajesh Sharma, librarian at Kendriya Vidyalaya Bilaspur, whom I mentioned earlier also. He worked at India International Center during 96-97 under Dr. Kaul. And to quote him, Dr. H.K. Kaul sir will always be remembered as a trend-setting, innovative practices, networking, and an outstanding library and information director in every aspect. I got basics to comprehensive knowledge from most respected Dr. H.K. Kaul sir and many more. I always remember him whenever I begin any innovation and salute him and his word. And so does not many of us every moment. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh, for sharing. I'll just like to, I think we are towards, we are perhaps, I think it seems that we don't have any of the colleagues who may like to say, and we are almost towards the closure of the session today, being meant entirely to remember Dr. Kaul, and in his memory, in his wonderful fragrant memory, to have organized the third Dr. H.K. Kaul's memorial lecture being delivered by Dr. Barbara Lison, for which we remain ever grateful. On behalf of DELNET, I would like to convey our sincere, heartfelt gratitude to our president, Shri K. Jayakumarji, who was able to join us from Trivandrum today and was here at Delhi, and for gracing this occasion. And we remain ever grateful to Dr. Barbara Lison, who has always been very, very gracious in supporting DELNET, our activities, and for agreeing to deliver the talk. And she was very much keen and wanting to be there online, but because of some last minute, professional commitment, which just cropped up, she had to, send us, the video recording of this. But we really look forward to having many more opportunities to have her live. And I think some of us had got an opportunity to interact with her when she came here at DELNET during the month of April. We remain ever grateful to her, and also to the entire team at her office, who have been able to get us this video recording in time, and which we have been. So, as being said by Dr. Heather, that yes, the entire deliberations of the Dr. Kaul's memorial lecture, it was a befitting thing, to have talked about everything in which Dr. Kaul pledged his entire life for the library professionals. That is, to do the networking, the connections, building up collaborations, the partnerships. And as I had just shown it to you, that he was not just simply a person who was only focusing on the libraries. The entire universe of knowledge always remained, on his radar. He was always wanting to network, and he always used to talk about it, that can there be a technology, Sangeeta, that, you click on to a particular, any topic, anything for that matter, anything whatsoever comes into the mind of the people, and they just want to know more about it, and everything gets hyperlinked. That was always his dream, to see that there should be a kind of a technology wherein librarians play that role of bringing the very relevant content together. Transforming the society was something which was very close to him all the time, which remained on his agenda, was how to transform, how to reform, how to make the lives of someone more better. Whether we, and it was not just simply to talk about the scholarly or the researcher community. He was also being very much keen and wanting to transform the society, the general masses, and had always dreamed of. So this initiatives being taken, whatsoever we are into, they have all been set by him. We're just trying, to see to it that can we get, that the lifetime opportunity to contribute towards the dreams of Dr. Kaul. Unparalleled vision, the vision of a yogi. He had that third eye always, who was, we have seen it, that how during the late 1990s, when entire this networking scene, when people there, everyone used to feel that this cannot really practically happen. From that small, humble 10 by 10 room size at India International Center, wherein he served as a chief librarian, he took up with the authorities at ISC, requesting them to give a small little cubicle, because he was wanting to give the wings, to his dreams. He had that clear vision with him. Just to share with you that when even we had, a budgeting of not more than an annual budget of 2 lakh rupees, he was that person with that unparalleled, unimaginative vision. He was able to just think at least 30 years beyond. He made, even we are here at JNU, Jawaharlal University, wherein we made our own buildings and everything. He made the entire, the designing, everything he got it made when we were in no way, we were having that capacity to build up. But he had that vision. He was so much, knowing about it, that what he would be doing. And every moment it was like being guided, he had that very high spiritual powers with him, and he was able to see beyond at least 20 years. No one had thought about the knowledge centers. It was a very first time that someone had even thought about a knowledge center. It was no one else. Let me be very, say it through this platform. It was he who had mentioned about the knowledge centers for the very first time. the concept of this digitization, digital libraries, the very first project which was given by Delnet to Department of Electronics way back in the year 1996, Italy, Indian Digital Library Initiative. He was the person. It was a doorway libraries, a village doorway libraries. He was a person who had just, made the very comprehensive, detailed kind of proposal submitted. We were never able to, Delnet was not able to get those, but yes, he was a trendsetter. He was the one who was able to translate his vision into thoughts, into action, and really had made it practically possible. And he had, lighted up not only the path of Delnet, he's lighted up the paths of infinite number of people from diverse backgrounds. Not only, he didn't only touch the lives of the people, from the profession of libraries. He was just able to. It was a great blessing seeing him, that how he used to, help the researchers and scholars, just going to the shelf and picking up that particular thing, what the user was. We truly felt so blessed, to have seen that library expert with an unparalleled vision with him. And so we all remain committed. We, through Delnet, we all, each and every, not only library professional, we as those information seekers, we as those who believes in providing a service, a quality service, a high level of dedication and devotion, truly felt all the time guided by him, by his work, by his vision. And he will always stay, there with us, showing us the way, and we following, that all the time. We remain highly obliged. On behalf of Delnet, I would like to take opportunity to thank also our office bearers, Dr. P.R. Goswamiji, Dr. Murthy, and others who have been able to join us, and also for their continued guidance. I also must convey our gratitude to Dr. Heather Brown for joining us from Australia, and many more friends from different diverse. I could see right from the world of libraries to literature, to the world of poetry, and many more who have been able to join today to pay the humble homage to the great visionary, to the great human being, to a great soul, Dr. H.K. Kaul. We thank you. We can't really thank you enough. We just wish and pray that you please be there, along with Delnet. You are a strength to us. We are able to do, Delnet is able to do the work, we are able to make whatsoever these humble steps in this last, in the big ocean, knowledge ocean. It's just a drop that we are able to. We are trying our best, and we are able to do all this because you are there with us. We count on your support. It's a tremendous support that we always find, through your cooperation, through your being there with us, and that gives us more the motivation and inspiration to stay relevant, to do what you are wanting. Thank you very much for being there in this wonderful journey of networking of libraries, being there with the vision of Dr. Kaul, being there with his work that he has gifted, he gifted his entire life to the profession. And let us take this pledge and reaffirm our pledge, reaffirm, our determination that we are going to take the libraries, we are going to take our services to greater and greater heights and bring more glory to the name of Dr. H.K. Kaul, the great extraordinary leader who has really gifted, to the libraries, to the profession, whatever, we have always been wanting to see. He was the one, he was the force who was able to really make it happen. Thank you so very much for being there. Once again, each one of us today pays our very humble tribute and homage to the great extraordinary leader and a very extraordinary human being who was really able to transform the lives of everyone around. So thank you very much for being there. We have greatly valued. We cannot really express in words how, grateful we have felt with your presence on this day today with us. Thank you very much, and we really look forward to having the same cooperation, the same support, which truly it means a lot to us. We highly remain indebted to each one of you for being there as a strong pillar of strength to us. Thank you so very much for being there, and may God bless each one of you. always stay connected. That's a prayer, the sincere prayer that we always, hold in our hearts. Stay connected and let us work together. Let's bring in a more stronger purpose, the purpose to light up the path of the information seekers. And we will be fulfilling every moment. We will be, we will be paying our homage through our deeds, through our work to Dr. Kaul, if we remain committed to his ideologies, to his principles, for which he just have sacrificed his entire life. He gave this, he willingly, has seen to it that we are able to bring, that transform the society around. Thank you very much for being there with us today. We remain highly grateful to each one of you. Thank you very much, and we look forward to the same support in future as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. I also would like to thank my own colleagues here at Delnet and also our units at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune. And also, as we said, we are coming up with our another unit in Lucknow. So thank you very much, one and all. We remain much grateful to each one of you for being there today at the third Dr. H.K. Kaul's memorial lecture. His memories are like a fragrance which will always there with us, each moment, each of the time. Thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful journey of networking of libraries. Let's stay connected. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.